Today we will be reading a technical manual on becoming a hitman.
Welcome to episode 2.
Episode 2, we made it so far.
Yeah, let's get started.
Yeah, let's get started.
Get some tea going, get some steam going.
Some steam. I want the steam to become an organism.
I want the steam to blow up and spell high noon tea as our intro. Our fucking editor guy, honestly.
Dude, honestly.
He's
man.
just worthless.
Here, let me pour yours first. Yeah.
How generous.
Today we have a tea called the Unfolding Path. It's a cave-aged white tea. Now what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to boil your water up, nice and hot. Then you're going to put in 3.5 tablespoons of loose leaf. Next, you want to let it steep. Steep for those 5 golden minutes. Woo-wee! That's some cave-age goodness right there. Chivalry is dead, but I still pursue it. Oh wow, look at that steam. There's absolutely none of it. Maybe it's the lighting. I was really hoping for like a volcano of fucking steam. I mean, I don't know what time is it.
High noon somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's let Hunter give a little context on what this piece is.
This technical manual was developed by someone who I will not name, considering that some of the things in this, I just honestly cannot condone putting out there. This was originally published by Paladin Press in 1983. In 1993, a triple murder was committed in Montgomery County, and it was linked to this technical manual. Paladin Press decided to pool the publishing of it after they got sued by the families. The 700 copies they had were destroyed. Now this is the fucking funny part. A fucking website named overthrow.com republished the book online one day after Paladin Press got rid of the rights to it. Within 24 hours. Now, with no further yeehaws, we now present the document in question.
Let's give a pseudonym to our author.
I say we just call him Johnny.
Yeah, I'll start off with the dedication. To those who think, to those who dare, to those who do, to those who succeed. Success is nothing more than taking advantage of an opportunity.
Anonymous. Johnny didn't actually say this.
Yeah, it wasn't Johnny. It was anonymous.
It was some person Johnny met, and he went, man, I did not catch that guy's name, but I gotta put that in the book. So he starts out this preface with, a woman recently asked how I could, in good conscience, write a instruction book on murder. It is my opinion that the professional hitman fills a need in society and is at times the only alternative for personal justice.
And then he asked, the casual question. How many times have you shared a few beers with a group of macho buddies who eventually turn the subject of conversation from women and sports to that of guns, ammunition, wars, and the killing? You're like, hey, how's the lady? Did you watch that game last night? Also, I've been thinking about murdering my coworker.
Yeah, you got any ammunition? How about that word? Macho buddies. Can you even use macho and buddy, together? That's, such a weird word choice.
Buddies is such a, oh, that's my buddy.
Macho
it's
buddies.
Such a cute little word.
My macho buddies.
Should we go ahead and get started with our savory course?
Yeah, absolutely.
Today's savory course is going to be an Eggs Benedict. First, I sliced my English muffin along with 2 lemons. Next, I got started on my homemade hollandaise. The first step was to separate 4 egg yolks. Then I added in a tablespoon of lemon juice, then whisked it together until it was thickened and doubled in volume. Next, I transferred this bowl over a saucepan with simmering water and continued the whisking. Then I slowly added in half a cup of melted butter and kept whisking until the sauce was thick and doubled once again. I added in a pinch of cayenne and a pinch of salt and mixed it in, and it was ready to go. I then tossed 4 slices of Canadian bacon onto a pan. While that's cooking, I went ahead and toasted my English muffin. I grated some aged cheddar. Once the Canadian bacon looked ready, I tossed on that shredded cheese and let it sit on the lowest heat possible. The last step is poaching an egg. To get started, boil some water mixed in with 2 tablespoons of vinegar. Once that's at a slow boil, use a slotted spoon to create a whirlpool in the water. Once you're at a steady whirlpool, you can drop your egg in and wait a couple minutes to let it cook. Once your egg is cooked, you can take it out and move it onto a paper towel to let it dry. Then to assemble it all, start off with your perfectly toasted English muffin. Place your Canadian bacon with cheese. Roll on your poached egg. Don't forget to season your egg. Use a spoon to apply some hollandaise. And then top it all off with some chives. And there you have it, a lovely Eggs Benedict.
A nice cold Eggs Benedict, because that's how we do production on set.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Canadian bacon, man. So pages 6 through 11 are literally just like the first chapter of what a James Pattinson novel would be. Like detailed prose. Like the man walks past the governor with a smoke trail leading behind him. It's literally just like a book chapter about a man carrying out a hit, and it kind of feels like a James Bond script mashed with a CSI episode. Books on subjects related to the professional hitman are hard to find, but there are a few publishers out there who have the backbone to provide those of us who take life seriously with the necessary educational material. Man, he just said, fuck you, Penguin Press.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck Huckleberry Finn. I want to read a book about how to murder somebody, because I take life seriously. I can't tell if he's saying that he takes people's lives seriously, or that, like, he kills somebody seriously.
I like how he says, necessary educational materials. Like, oh,
Yeah.
this is part of your syllabus, you need this.
The whole book actually reads like a course textbook. With the right attitude and an open mind, almost any good mystery or murder story can provide some ingenious new methods for terrorizing, victimizing, or exterminating. He has a very positive attitude about carrying out hits. Because, you know, would you rather be killed by, like, a very negative hitman or a very positive one, you know?
He shows up in the back of your car, he's like, I'm gonna take your life. No, I have a wife and kids. And he's just like, well, I think they'll do all right, you know? You got a life insurance policy, and, you know, I think at the end of the day, you worked your butt off, and they'll still love you, and they'll have a good memory of you.
And then he just goes, besides, your wife is the one that asked me to carry out the hit.
Oh.
He's like, don't worry, she'll move on.
Our boy Johnny here says, a subscription to your local newspaper may be the wisest investment. Each morning as you sip your coffee and scan the local section, you will be met with a variety of up-to-date employment opportunities.
I like that he supports the newspaper, though. Like, it's such a dying profession. If anything, you know, I hope people read this and they go, man, I should read the newspaper.
Political corruption. All politicians are expected to be corrupt, but who among them is desperate and despicable enough to be willing to pay to eliminate the competition?
I can name a few right now. I love how he, like, talks about finding hits. For instance, the next one, divorce. Follow closely news or rumors of particularly nasty divorce proceeding. Chances are, one could use your discreet professional services.
So this guy's just like, oh, your marriage is falling apart? Well, you know, hire
Here's
me
my
to kill
business
them.
card. Maps. A local city map is a must. It's a must for planning routes. He really sounds like the person you're going on a trip with, and they, like, plan everything out. And they're like, no, a map is a must. A local map is a must. Locating a mark, an obliging postal clerk. An obliging postal clerk. That's like the Dave you meet at the postal office who, like, has, like, the gauges and goes out on his vape break, like, every 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You find that guy, you're in. A law enforcement handbook for your state should be available through any college bookstore where law enforcement classes are taught. If not, steal one! I mean, how can you successfully evade the law if you have no knowledge of how it operates?
Johnny's the guy who does his homework before he does his job.
Some of this stuff is, like, applicable to so many things.
Yeah.
I feel like knowing the law is something we should just all know.
Miscellaneous.
I love that. I love that there's just a miscellaneous section to this.
This hitman sat down and he's like, I'm gonna write a book just to help people out. He put structure in it too.
Yeah,
Like,
I have to say, and I don't condone killing people, but this is a well-written, like, piece of literature.
I'm happy you don't condone killing people.
My hand didn't touch my chest, so we don't know.
Oh, that's
We
true.
don't know if I'm being completely
That's true.
honest. Philip Redhead and him should team up.
Philip
They would
Red-
be the perfect capers.
Philip Redhead could read body language and be like, hey Johnny, I read that guy's body language. They want to call a hit on someone.
Hey, Johnny, this divorce, it's nasty. I'm thinking, maybe we can make some money
Maybe
here.
we can make some cash. Philip Redhead could obviously help him get away with it if he has meetings with law enforcement.
He's essentially an FBI agent. At the FBI Academy, you have to read Philip Redhead's novel.
Fitness. Your body should be as fit as your mind. This means not only careful attention to exercise and diet, but moderation if you are going to partake in tobacco products and alcohol.
I just think he's wrong. I could do any of this stuff. I could jump.
I don't know if you have the mental fitness.
It's just wrong.
Are you okay? Do you want to talk about it?
Just, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a hitman. I started smoking because in the movies they would smoke. And now I feel like very betrayed.
Maybe you should just give it up.
Oh yeah, nice try, Johnny.
A man who smokes 2 packs of cigarettes a day will certainly not be capable of running long and hard for any length of time.
I can run.
You don't smoke 2 packs a day.
I'm gonna start smoking 2 packs just to prove him wrong.
Our boy Johnny's probably dead by now.
Johnny, if you're out there and you want to contact us in a non-lethal manner, we are always down to talk about your book. I think you're a good writer. I will say that.
Yeah, definitely. He said you will need to know kill techniques as well as survival self-defense. And you won't learn these skills at the corner karate school. That includes women and children in its classes. Sport karate can get you killed in the street.
You hear that, everyone who takes karate? You will be killed in the
You hear
street.
that? Yeah. I mean, you're wasting your money.
This is not the only time he mentions karate. He's very against karate throughout the entire book. A hitman without a gun is like a carpenter without a hammer. Not very effective.
Carpenters, they don't use... Hammer isn't their primary tool. Hammers are kind of primal,
Yeah, that's like some like Neolithic shit.
Yeah. I'd say carpenters mainly use saws, drills.
Who's a famous carpenter that we can contact?
I don't know.
Jesus?
Jesus. Can we have Jesus on the show, please?
In the course of putting this book together, while disguising myself as a writer, I want you to think about that line. He disguised himself as a writer while putting a book together.
Sir, I think you're a writer.
What if the entire book was just for this? Like, he actually wrote the book as a part of the disguise for this meeting.
He had the meeting and he's like, well, I disguised myself as a writer, so I gotta write something.
Yeah, I gotta follow through.
Yeah.
I chanced to interview a former law enforcement officer with 27 years experience for his opinion of how a perfect hit would go down. Think about the fact that this officer was sitting next to a hitman, and he's just talking to him about a perfect hit. He would follow the mark until a routine was established, and probably waste the man in a public place with a blast from a double-barreled, sawed-off shotgun. Then he would throw the gun down and drive away while the bystanders were in a state of mass hysteria.
Jeez.
That's
that sounds like
gruesome.
a horrible idea.
For somebody in law enforcement, this sounds like a really bad idea. Why not hit the mark in his own home? I inquired innocently.
Is Johnny British now?
Well, yeah, bro, that's him and I gotta do a new voice for the officer.
I'll do the officer. He answered.
Sorry, I don't speak pig Latin, sir.
Oh, I never hit a guy in his own house. He answered, with donut in hand. Too many witnesses, family, noisy neighbors, and the like. This guy's worried about witnesses, but his perfect hit was in public.
With mass hysteria.
Yeah.
But those nosy neighbors. Yeah, he's, well, that's why he's an officer, right?
Yeah.
What
Well-
about a small caliber handgun with an attached silencer?
You would have to carry the handgun concealed, and that's against the law. And I'd never touch a silencer. Boy, they'd burn you if you got caught with a thing like that.
Man.
Oh no! The hitman has a silencer!
Dude, they let anyone into the police force, I swear. to
Yeah.
God. Why on earth, I thought, would a man worry about breaking gun restrictions when he was en route to commit a murder?
Johnny's so reasonable, man.
Dude, Johnny's like educated, and he's like sassy too. That's what I like about him.
Johnny's spicy.
He's spicy. Poison is one of the hitman's best friends.
Okay, so He said you're not effective without a gun, and then poison's one of your best friends.
He even says that poison might be the most. He says it's his best friend.
Yeah.
What happened to the gun?
At the local library, a very helpful assistant led me to the reference section. You don't want industrial chemicals. They are janitorial supplies.
Could you imagine, like, you're just an assistant at the library and you're like, hey, Johnny, welcome back to the public library. And he's like, yeah, can you show me where your chemical section is? And you're like, oh, Johnny, first silencers, now the chemical section? I'm starting to worry about you.
I feel like this guy is leaving a lot of traces, you know? So many people are seeing his face.
But here's the thing, he covered his traces because the second the library assistant, you know, like, dials 911, like, they're gonna call, and the officer's gonna be like, oh, yeah, that's a writer. He's just doing research.
Recently, there's been quite a stink about dioxin, whose disposal the Environmental Protection Agency has not handled satisfactorily. I like how he says, quite a stink. I'm sure he read it in the newspaper. He's like, dioxin, that was one of my favorite chemicals. What a stink.
He's sitting with his wife, like, from the beginning. He's like, gosh, dioxin, that was my favorite. What a stink.
Sorry, honey. We're not making love tonight. No, what's wrong? Dioxin got busted by the Environmental Protection Agency.
No, I don't want your pancakes, Margaret. This is bigger than pancakes. And then he ends it with poison for thought, isn't it? Right?
I hope this guy just makes up his own phrases for a hitman.
Poison for thought, isn't it?
It's raining silencers and poison. Soak the Mark's tea bags in the potent additive. Now that's why we're using loose leaf. That's why we're using loose leaf.
Yeah, we use loose leaf, Johnny. So.
And no one drop any of that lethal. Johnny, where the fuck are you?
Empty his medication and refill all capsules with milk sugar, except for one loaded dose. Let your imagination soar!
Johnny's such a free spirit.
I think Johnny should have like a TV show, like Elmo Street or something like that, you know?
Or like Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Johnny the Hitman Guy.
John. Should we go for some of these pies, perhaps?
Absolutely. I was waiting for you to offer up some pie.
Today's dessert is from Tiny Pies in Austin. This delicious local bakery sells small pies with big tastes, and today we're going to be trying their pear cranberry pie, their lemon meringue pie, their Dutchie's apple pie, and lastly, their pumpkin chai pie.
It's really good.
That's a tiny pie.
This may be the tiniest pie I've ever had.
It's a little baby pie.
Danger! Ego, women, and partners. The whole show can come tumbling down when it's shaken by any one of these three things.
Egos. Now that you are back home after your first rendezvous with destiny, everything seems to have changed.
Reality check. Just remember, you are secure within yourself. You don't need to impress anyone else in any way, shape, or form.
That's just beautiful.
He should be a mental health coach.
He just like comes into the high school. He's like, "Hi, I'm Johnny, ex-hitman. You are secure within yourself. You don't need to impress anyone else in any way, shape, or form. Just be yourself. Ideally, a professional hitman will remain single. Popes and hitmen, same thing. Abstinence completely. Ironically, the best professional partner you can have is a woman. Why is that ironic?
I think he's thinking like Philip Redhead.
But she has to be a full-time partner, not a part-time partner. I can tell that this man views being a hitman
As
like
a
a
career.
9 to 5.
It has to be a woman that's a full-time partner. She's gonna need benefits, healthcare, 401k, and she has to have the following qualifications. This is getting a little Philip Redheady.
Hitmen aren't exactly progressive. Good looks and a seductive attitude. Total dedication to you. No conscience. This 6th one is just no conscience. A sociopath. This just sounds like something he wanted.
This is his fantasy.
This is his fantasy.
Like Philip Redhead, he's writing a fanfic.
From such a woman, you can expect the intelligence to help you plan successful jobs and to provide you with continuously stimulating conversation and companionship. Now, you might think, oh my gosh, that sounds really nice. Well, let me get to the next one. Sex on a regular basis without danger of blowing your cover.
Wow, Johnny. Do you think he actually has a partner like this, or he's just trying to, like, look cool?
His wife in the beginning said, How could you possibly write a book like this?
Yeah, it wasn't his wife.
Oh, it's not his wife? Well, I want to assume he has a wife. I feel like he's like a disgruntled, retired, like, hitman. An unflinching backup due to her emotional attachment to you.
Jesus. Johnny's gonna manipulate this girl. He's gonna gaslight her.
Johnny is a fuckboy.
Shame on you, Johnny. Assuming you have been fortunate enough to find your HMIW, Hitman's Ideal Woman.
Dude, that's a porn category. Like BBW, just HMIW. I hope I find my HMIW.
Every man wants his HMIW.
Could you imagine him going, well, that lady over there, let me tell you something. That's an HMIW.
Do you think he like approaches these girls? Listen, I think you're my HMIW.
His son's getting married. He has to do like a toast. Son, I knew you'd find your HMIW. And I'm so proud of you. Law. Remember, it's not up to you to prove that you were not there. It's up to them to prove that you were.
This is a man who believes in due process.
Yes, he does. He knows his amendment. Then, someday, when you've done and seen it all, you might just feel cocky enough to write a book about it. I fucking love that.
One arc Johnny has included in there.
What a way to, like, top it off. But I really feel like that was, like, the most cocky, egotistical fuck you. You know, one day you'll be good enough that you can just write a book about it and nothing will happen.
He's flexing.
It's a flex. Leave this in the comments. If you were any Strawberry Shortcake character, what would you be? I'm a Lemon Meringue personally.
I'm Strawberry Shortcake. I hope you guys enjoyed this guide on becoming a hitman.
Very informative.
There's a lot to learn there.
Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. A hitman without a gun is like a carpet.